The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we got going on today? Well, it's a little bit up, and it's mostly by a couple of stocks. But volume is okay. I'm not going to say it's great. It's not some kind of rousing endorsement of higher prices. I think we can lay most of the action down to two major, maybe three major stocks today. Boeing up about $3. The big ones, of course, are Apple, which we're going to talk about today, and Amazon. Apple's the one that piques my interest the most because people have been shorting the living daylights out of it for the last 4 or 5 days. I think assuming that since nothing leaked of value, that there's not going to be anything other than a big collective yawn tomorrow during the rollout. But it's kind of what we had today, and a lot of people getting into it. But I heard something earlier today. I think it was on the radio, maybe on Bloomberg or something. And it was just about how the short position in Apple is bigger than Tesla. Well, that would be fine if both Tesla and Apple were the same size, but they are not. So the short position in Apple is by percentage a whole lot less. But it is interesting to see what William Buffett thinks is the best stock in the stock market, according to him, attract the most amount of shorts in the market. His track record with technical stocks has not been all that good. He went knee deep into IBM and ended up getting out. Don't know if there's a lot of difference in Apple other than the fact that they've got, what, $250 billion in cash. So they're not going out of business anytime soon, but the price actually reflects that $250 billion and it being repatriated in. So that's not something new. The question would be, how quickly could they fall from grace if they don't have a product, or maybe even a product that's 6 months out of date coming into it? And a lot of people are very bearish. And you don't get these kind of bearish levels by Joe Sixpack out there thinking Apple was going lower. This is some pretty smart guys on Wall Street with huge cash. Not all of them are smart, I will give you that. But some people with at least access to huge amounts of cash shorting Apple. So what's up with that? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about it today, some other things going on. As we said, volume's about 3.7 billion shares as we start the show. A lot better than yesterday. But still, a lot of that volume came early in the morning before the stock market started moving higher as Apple started moving higher. Dollar index is up 9 cents, so we don't see a lot in that. Of course, the energy sector looked like it was kind of bottoming out yesterday, maybe the day before that. Oil's up $1.84. I just don't see a lot above 70 for oil. And again, the almost $2 we have higher. Basically, everybody a little nervous about Iran and the tariffs to go back on them for them being a terrorist state. But that's about it. As always, we like to start with a little history, and we'll do that today.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Well, everybody talks about 9/11, but the second 9/11 was in 2012. The Benghazi attacks were coordinated against two U.S. States government facilities in Benghazi, Libya. I don't think if we had this attack, anybody would ever heard of Benghazi. By members of the Islamic militant group Ansar Sharia. At 9:40 p.m., September 11th, members of the Ansar Sharia attacked the American diplomatic compound in Benghazi, resulting in the deaths of U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens and U.S. Foreign Service Information Management Officer Sean Smith, along with several people working in black ops and CIA agents, a total of, I think they claimed 4, but there were many more. Stevens was the first U.S. ambassador killed in the line of duty since 1979. And of course, I've always hoped that I would live long enough to actually find out what happened on this day. Earlier at 3 p.m. that day, the State Department issued an apology that didn't say what they were apologizing for. This started at 9:40. No one wanted to let anybody come in and help. It pretty much ended about 3 a.m. with a mortar strike. And of course, when they found Stevens, unsure what Sean Smith died of, but Stevens died of smoke inhalation at the location. But there was a lot more going on, as there is always when CIA types are around. I always wanted to find out exactly what this was about. Of course, in the press, we found the giant lie to cover up something bigger going on. That lie was a video on YouTube that only 10 people had seen. It started a mass uprising. But apparently nobody that in all of Egypt had ever seen it. So that theory, it lasted about 4 weeks. But a lot of times, government, they don't want to say anything about what the CIA is doing behind the curtain. And it grew and grew and made a bigger mountain out of what most of the time would have been a molehill. The best information is that somebody in the State Department had put a deal together to send Stinger missiles to the area for some unknown purpose. And those missiles had gotten away, and we had many CIA types out there trying to round them up. But eventually, as all things, the truth will come out, and we'll find out what actually happened that day. But still a lot of smoke, not a lot of fire on what was going on in the background that everybody wanted to cover up. But kind of other than they made a movie out of it, I think after the movie, 9/11 has always come to be the big day in New York. And maybe it's time that we, every once in a while, let's come back to the 2012 9/11 day. Anyway, we'll be back after this. We'll talk more about Apple. We'll get into the chart, and we'll talk about the actual levels of short thumb in Apple.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back. As I said, I want to talk a little bit about an Apple, not in that I'm trading it, but the big issue out here is, of course, that it is such a big part of the NASDAQ that it can pretty much single-handedly move. Is the volume exciting today? The answer is no. We've got about 25 million shares compared to the almost 40 million shares yesterday. And what do we have at the high? 33 million shares. 43 million shares. I guess the question is, on Apple, is the market willing to look past the next 6 months? Because unless they've got something really interesting tomorrow that hasn't leaked, which I doubt it, because you've got about 1 million people on the assembly lines building iPhones over there, that someone would have gone in there, taken a picture, and snapped it. All we know is that the phones will have some new different sizes. They'll have a few things, but is it really going to matter? And I think the answer, unless they've kept something from us that they haven't been able to keep before, something that hadn't leaked, that would be it. I got a question here. Where did the little bounce come from today in the market? Well, one of the Canadian negotiators, I guess that'd be the best way to describe her, came out and said that they were actually back in negotiations. That's all it took to throw a little fire under the market. We're up 12 or 13 points on the S&P, 136 on the Dow. The Nasdaq's up 45. The Russell's flat on the day. But again, back to Apple. Did want to get into this just because it was so interesting to me, and that is normally you don't have stocks that are big, the blue chip stocks, where people are absolutely shorting the living daylights out of it as they have been. But going back to the 28th of August, we've pretty much had on the daily short numbers at least 20%. And at one point, 26% of all orders were started with a short sale during the day. That doesn't tell you how many people covered before the end of the day. But on this pullback, really starting up here on the 6th, we've had people actually shorting the bejesus out of it since the 28th. So we're just kind of in the what, a buck or two on a $220 stock. Isn't that big a deal so far for these people that are out there? But certainly the size of the short interest in Apple is interesting. If they don't come up with anything new, then I think that that's an interesting idea where a lot of people think that Apple is topped out. If they do come out with something interesting, then there are a lot of shorts in Apple to drive that price higher tomorrow. So that would be kind of interesting. CRM was one of the few stocks higher this morning. It's up, no juice on it either. It actually came down on to 7.3 million shares on the 5th of this month. Right now, we're doing about 3 million shares. So you're just coming back into this gap down from August 30th that had 14.3 million shares, again with 3 million shares. And that's kind of the way the entire market looks. There hadn't been incredible failures yet, but it's one of these things where it's been rather light volume on the way back up. My personal opinion on the markets is that we're making kind of the B to C point of an ABC on the way back down that could extend all the way to 2,800 by the end of the month on the S&P cash, by the way. Other things going on in the market that we wanted to look at, as we said, handful of stocks that we were looking at in energy in the newsletter started to look like they were basing out. The XLE certainly did that. It didn't quite get to the August 15th low that came in with 26 million shares. That was at 71.70. You got to 71.78. So you missed by 8 cents, but the volume more than fell in half at only 10 million shares on September 7th. And you started moving a little higher up here. So do these stocks look like they could have bottomed? The answer is yes, but I don't think there's much money in the bounce. And the reason why is the energy that we came off of from that August 29th high. And if there was a of the stocks that I'm looking at that had fairly decent tests, I'm going to say that this is the way that the market looked at or looks like. Most of these stocks came down with significant energy off those highs. They've come down and tested at least the first test on lighter volume, but now they're bouncing and they're not bouncing with very much volume. And at that point, you go, okay, can you bounce 20 points in the S&P cash or 25 or 30? You certainly can, but there isn't a lot of energy yet for people getting back into that. Now, when you look at other sectors that are still weak, like the SMHs today are down $1. We'll look at this. You can make a case that we've gotten out of this triangle pattern in the SMHs, and we did so by breaking out of that triangle pattern above, and then, of course, the real move is going to be lower. In fact, let's zoom in to this a little closer, and then we'll do this, and zoom in and bring it over. So we can actually, come on. Oh, there it is. Okay. And we can pop it up in this window. I'll draw these arrows. But we had something going on like this on a longer term basis. And we kind of broke out for what? Handful of days above that trend line down. Never had any of the energy. Now we've come back in. Energy is starting to already pick up and exceed what the energy was back up on this leg to 109.78. So that would be, generally my theory on these triangle patterns, which is the first break is the one you want to fade when these things are tightening. and it seems to have worked in the SMHs, at least on this time. Nope. Okay. So as we look at that, is there anything exciting to say out here? Well, you want to look at some of the other stocks in this sector. SWKS. Nothing looked that exciting to me, other than the fact you might actually have some lows coming in. But again, the energy for the most of them wasn't very light. Now, Skyworks Solutions, SWKS, big in the cellular smartphone business, actually doesn't have a bad looking chart. It actually, for what's out here, actually does not look that bad. $85.43 with 2.5 million shares was the April 30th low. We spiked that today on 1.3 million shares. You want to see how that volume comes in. One of the weird things is this is one of the few stocks that actually came back with lighter volume off the July 20th high. So keep an eye on Skyworks. We'll look at Avago when we come back, and a few others.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary Power Law Vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of the Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Anyway, we're looking at Skyworks Solution. Let's take a quick look at Avago. But Skyworks doesn't look that bad. Avago looks like it could be in a much bigger and more horrible ABC on the way down. This is the stock that I've always thought just always seemed to me like a house of cards that could fall apart at any time. I don't know when, but it just seems like it. You've had some fairly strong energy back up to fill this gap. The volume came down pretty horrifically back to 197.46. That was July 12th. Came down with 43 million shares. Got into it yesterday with 6 million shares. No big whoop out here that this is down on 4 million shares already today. So you're going to probably have a little higher volume as this thing pulls back. A good business, maybe if it balances out here. But again, these guys have spent way too much money on acquisitions. And I think those acquisitions have papered over a multitude of sins in the accounting of Avago. But that's just my read from it. Questions about gold out here. Actually, if you look at the GDXJ, not all that bad looking, and looks like it could be basing out. Doesn't mean it's going higher. But on this one, you had the August 16th low come in with 24 million shares at 26.78. We went through that yesterday with 12 million shares. Today we have about 8 million shares, a little bit of a reversal out here. I do like the fact that the energy up off that August 16th low to the $29.14 August 28th high had significant more energy than the pullback so far. I'm still of the mind that I'd much rather be in the yellow metal than in the miners, but that's just me. You look at the same thing in the JDST, you are into this big gap that goes back for a while. Let's see, back here. There we go. This big gap that goes back for a while, and that gap is a bunch of them, but they all go back. Let's zoom in on these. They all are all around this May 4th, what is that, May 8th, May 9th of 2017. And that's what we're hitting right now on the bear side of this market. Now, those are some rather smaller gaps. Now you get back into some even larger ones. And I mean, what is it? 1, 2, 3 different gaps around this January 5th, January 4th of 2017 area. So on the way back up on the bear side, you've got what should be some fairly decent resistance, although I can't imagine people hung on to this that long. But you are starting to hit those areas. So we're probably going to have some action one way or the other in gold here across the next month or so. But the energy on the way back up, not that exciting. And of course, all you have to do is look at the 90s to see when gold did nothing but go sideways for a long time. But starting to see at least a few nuggets that it may not be going down. It had a nice little bounce this morning, but that's about it. Certainly could. I'm just saying that there's at least a few green shoots, as they like to say on TV, out here that are in some of these that say that there might be some hope and not instant destruction in gold. Again, I think I'd much rather want to be in the metal than in any of these stocks. Other big stocks that seem like maybe there's some hope is MGM. Some pretty big news today about how Las Vegas is actually starting to get more people back into it. Let's go to a shorter chart out here. There was a big reversal day in MGM at 2670, 2685. That was on August 2nd with 41 million shares. You got 3 days going sideways. Yesterday you had 13.8 million shares, but still half of that August 2nd low. You had a little bit more volume come in yesterday, a little sideways action today. Let's take a look at LVS. Now, this one is back to a gap that goes around for a long time. That gap goes back to October 31st of 2017 with it's called 3.9 million shares. You had 7 million shares, 4 million shares, 5 million shares. So you're back to at least support in LVS. Energy was down, fairly big run from $80.99 on June 20th. And you're back down to 59.11 today. So as we look at a few of these out here, these things may be washed out. They came down fairly hard. I don't look for a lot of V bottoms in stocks that came down off fairly decent prices, which is what, 25% off of its high from June 20th. So pretty decent deal. Let's take a quick look at WIN. Again, a lot of these things, since they're in ETFs or in baskets of stocks, one gets sold, all of them get sold. But WIN is at least back into what should be a support level that goes into August and July of 2017. And you're about at that level. Volume wasn't all that exciting. You had about 6 million shares on the way down on the 6th. You've kind of bounced a little up here. But again, none of these things look that brilliant right now to go after. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can put a message in the den. What else? I wanted to look at a few other ones out here. Restoration Hardware. We talked about this one last week. There's a couple of unpardonable sins in the marketplace, and one is to say that we're not really interested in revenue that much. And, of course, all the people on Wall Street look at revenue to signal the fact that it's time to get out of Dodge when revenue starts slipping, and you can always make profits look good for a while. When revenue slips, pretty good indication that profits will slip in the near future. They just said, yeah, we're not going after revenue so much as profits. And everybody took that to mean that they were probably pretty much overpriced. You had 3 big down days to $122.10. We're kind of back in there. Volume's a little less. You're at pretty much the best level of support you're going to get in this. But you know what? I need a nice bounce in this to short it. Unfortunately, this is another one of these perennially heavily shorted stocks, so it is problematic. But 150 on this thing again could look fairly good as a short. We'll be back.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back looking at Micron. A lot of these semis have been coming back with some energy. Micron did come back with some significant energy, not a horrible washout. Got some question of whether or not this is a buy at the moment. And I would say no, and it has less to do about the chart pattern, which is, I'm going to say, a flip of the coin. To me, though, it's much more about the prices of memory, and memory continues to fall. On the deals site that I'm signed up for, I get always a lot of emails about computer hard drives, SSDs, and spinning drives. And man, is the price of these things falling and falling and falling. And there's just a kind of a huge glut right now in the memory business, which isn't any good for Micron. They are the second biggest manufacturer of memory. Intel actually is the first biggest seller of memory. They rebrand it to sell to a lot of other people. This is breaking, or did break through, the April 2nd low, 46.69, that had 67 million shares. No volume in this so far today, though, only about 17 million shares. It may even, I think this thing is just going to continue heading lower until they get a CEO. No one wants to be in this thing. And ideally, if you could get back down to 41.44, I think that would be a fairly decent long-term buy in Intel. So maybe another $4 lower. Energy, again, down this right-hand leg off the 5730i, did come down with more energy than it went up to on that one off the 46.69 low of April 2nd. You had more energy down. It's going to take some consolidation. But you know what? 2-4 weeks go along. This thing is in the high 41s. Volume really ticks up. These guys are going to have some very important equipment next year, and Total Solutions for their new memory, their next Crosspoint memory platform. And I think it's going to make a lot of difference. They also have some offerings in machine learning that are going to be fairly significant. So they've got some new products, especially into the cloud server business, that they can sell a lot of things to. But I think this is kind of the calm before that, and it may take till the end of the year for this thing to get turned around. But I wouldn't buy this until you get a new CEO. It'll probably pop on that day. You're going to have to wait for some kind of pullback as much as you can stand before you get back in it. But it's unclear when these guys are going to get in any kind of a new CEO. What's Toshiba Semiconductor up to these days? Basically, they are got kind of pieced apart, and a part of it, the production of whatever it's called now, goes to Western Digital, and Seagate, I think, to a lesser extent. Seagate bought their own memory manufacturer, but that's pretty much it. It's been folded back into some businesses in Japan, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's one of those things where you'd need a forensic accountant to figure out what happened to it. Western Digital fought forever to get, for the money they had in Toshiba, to get a contract for ongoing memory from them so they could continue to produce what they do in SSDs, that's solid state drives, instead of the spinning hard drives we've been familiar with for the last 50 years. Yeah, there's not much. Western Digital, of course, as I said, with hard drives coming down, especially the SSDs coming down in price, I was short this thing, and we made some money on it, and I got out way too early. That's when this thing was going kind of sideways out here at 80 before it fell off a cliff. And, you know, you got another 20 bucks out of it, down to 54.12 today. I don't think anything changes. Everybody's pretty much short this stock on a nice bounce back up to 75 bucks. If I was that lucky, I'd like to short it again. But I think both Western Digital and Seagate will probably be out of business in 2 or 3 years. I just don't see how they actually ever will be able to go up against the likes of other companies like Micron and Intel without building the latest technology and lowest price memory that they should have. Anyway, Seagate out here looks a lot better than Western Digital. But again, energy off this June 21st high was more than the energy on the way back up to it. None of these look that good. I think Seagate looks like, to me, like after some noise, it's going to head down to about 43 bucks. But again, I think 2-3 years from now, the end is going to come fairly quickly for these companies. I don't think it's like Sears or Kmart, where these things are going to be like a loose tooth in a 6-year-old's head that just sit there and dangle for a week. I think these things are probably going to turn fairly quickly to the downside if someone doesn't buy them out. And I don't know why you'd want to buy out their technology. Kind of like getting into the horsewhip business about 1920. Kind of at the tail end of that. I think I probably would have wanted to be more in the, I got something in my hand, on the tail end of that. So I'm still looking at that. Question about what's going on in GNRC. As I said yesterday, you got to watch these things very closely. Yes, I'm out of them. The 10 o'clock update on, or it was the 10:30 update on the storm showed that it's not going to hit Thursday, but it'll hit Friday. Normally when storms slow, they also dissipate a lot of the rain in front of it. And of course, that means that all why they are talking about we're talking about a level 4 storm. It's probably going to be a level 3 or 2 storm if it continues slowing by the time it hits what do they call it? They call it the southeast. I'm just going to call it the lower eastern seaboard of the United States. Certainly lower would be Florida to me. And it's kind of the mid, kind of the ribs, bottom of the ribs, if it was a human, part of North Carolina. So anyway, you got it. Like I said, you got to watch these things implicitly. But everybody started selling GNRC when they saw that 10 or 10:30? Can't even remember today. But when that came and showed a little slowing, that's a pretty good time to show how this is the kind of stock that you can trade intraday based on news flow, especially if you know anything about weather and you're watching the weather reports when it comes out. If it looks like it's growing, the stock will go higher. If it looks like it's waning, the stock will go lower. And the question is, if it comes in there and hits at a 2, then this thing probably loses $5 fairly quickly. If it comes in there and hits at a 5, look for it to go to 70. So got two sides of the coin, and not a big stock to be in probably overnight from here on out. Maybe a good intraday play. We'll be back in just a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what was it, 8 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Hard to remember. 2 weeks ago. Man, I can't remember when we were talking about Sonos coming out as an IPO. It's not been out that long. How long has it been out? Let's make sure I got the right data. Yep. Opened up on August 2nd. Did so with a lot of aplomb. When this thing came out, I think the next day or so, or the day it came out, I said there wasn't a whole lot here. If you're unfamiliar with this company, they make a lot of the audio equipment that is Bluetooth around the homes. And, of course, some fairly nice equipment for home theaters, that kind of stuff. And what you got is a company that is problematic in the fact that everybody's at war for putting a object in your living room around your TV. And with Apple and Google and everybody else, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have an object that doesn't talk to everything else. Whatever you're going, whatever religion you're going to go after, whether it's Apple or Google or Amazon, all these guys have the ability to build something with all that, whatever flavor you want into it for the living room. I didn't understand this unless they had an opportunity to get bought out, but I don't think they really have any technology that goes anywhere. They're one of the big downside losers today, down to $16.53. But this is one of these IPOs that seem rather late cycle for this business, and maybe they can turn something around. But I think without partnering up now with somebody like Amazon or Google, I think these guys will have a very tough road. But I thought that one came out. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.